fitness industry, you and I, we got beef. So back in 2013, 2014-ish, I got a role of taking down scumbags in the industry. And, people hadn't thought about it the ways I thought about it. And I really turned on the lights for a lot of people. And it sent the scumbags scurrying like cockroaches when you flick on the lights in a room. Unfortunately, I got busy doing other stuff, putting together Avatar, putting together Carbon, putting together all these other business ventures. I focused on me. And these cockroaches have kind of crawled back out as it's gotten dark in the room again. So it's time to flick the lights on. So today, I'm going after basic fitness chicks, people who claim to be scientists who aren't scientists, and carb blockers. But the basic IG fitness chicks and carb blockers kind of go together. So let's talk about that for a second. Saw a post from a very, very famous IG basic fit chick, Michelle Lowen, I think. And, she may be a perfectly nice person. She probably is a perfectly nice person. But her post was essentially that carb blockers, that you just flush the carbs through your system. Let me explain to you, let me give you a basic physiology lesson. If something is undigestible, if you do not digest it, the flushing you will experience is called diarrhea, okay? Because the undigested material in your GI tract will pull water into that area to dilute those solutes, and then you will have a dumping effect, okay? So if carb blockers actually worked, at every major fitness expo, when these basic fit chicks are having their cheat meals, about an hour later, you'd see a 10-mile line at the restroom because they'd be running there because they'd have to shit their pants, all right? So, ladies, y'all may be very attractive. You might post a lot of booty selfies, but those carb blockers don't work. Otherwise, that picture you posted with that carb blocker at the table in that nice restaurant you're at, you'd be running for the toilet in about an hour. So, thankfully for you, they don't work, because that would be very embarrassing. We want that to end up on Instagram, But then they'll resort to it works for me. Oh, that's how you got your butt, and not the implants. That's how you got your great curves, and not the double D implants you paid for, or the liposuction. Okay, cool, awesome. By the way, I'm not saying that this particular person has had that done. I am just saying in general. I don't want to make it seem like I am targeting her directly, because again, I'm sure she's a perfectly nice person, but I have seen this with other people. So let's assume that carb blockers. Let's go through more of the actual physiology and why they don't work. Because they're another well-known PhD in the industry has pulled up papers about how they inhibit this particular enzyme involved in starch digestion. That is true. There are inhibitors of those enzymes. Keyword being inhibitor, not block, okay? You never totally block an enzyme. Now, if you get a strong enough inhibitor, concentration high enough, yes, there can be a virtual blockage. However, for most things, most supplements not nearly powerful enough to do that. So you're not completely blocking it. You're kind of, like it says, inhibiting it a little bit. However, that undigested starch, since it doesn't cause diarrhea, something happens to it. What happens to it, might you ask, Layne? Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'll tell you. So, that undigested starch is actually fermented by the bacteria in your large intestine to short-chain fatty acids, which are then reabsorbed through the liver, and you still get almost all the calories from it. The only possible benefit would be people who need to exercise glycemic control, because it would blunt the glycemic response from carbohydrate. But you still get all those calories. I'm sorry, there is no such thing as a real calorie blocker. It doesn't exist. And if it did, you would get diarrhea from it. Sorry, ladies. You may be super hot, but if that carb blocker works, I don't want to be around you, and what happens after about an hour of that carb blocker. So You may be the hottest girl on the planet, but you take one of them carb blockers with a meal, I ain't going to want to be around what comes out of the other end in about an hour. Sorry. All right, now let's address. I saw something the other day. This guy online likes to call himself the mad scientist. Not Chris Duffin, by the way. I like Chris. I believe this guy's name is Gidry or something like that. And I don't want to address him specifically because he was hating on IIFYM or flexible dieting, which is fine. He's entitled to his opinion. But I really don't like when people who aren't scientists try to act like scientists. Let me tell you what. I really liked what my friend Ryan Dorr said one time. He said, don't try to fake something. Because if you do, you'll meet somebody who's really passionate about that particular thing and really good at it, and they'll fucking embarrass you, okay? So, if you're a scientist, why all these guys who claim these bros, because if you're a bro, that's cool, be a bro. But all these guys that are bros claim to put their stuff in science. They try to claim some science behind it. Instead of just saying, no, this is all bro, and it's what I think. They try to wrap some kind of weird distorted logic to make it sound like they know science. All right? This is a big pet peeve of mine. And in this case, putting scientist in the name. If you're a scientist, then let's do a scientific debate. Why do all these guys, and I've challenged probably 4 or 5 of them to scientific debates at, say, the International Society of Sports Nutrition Conference. Why don't you want to have a debate with me? There was one guy last year, Phil. He boasted very loudly that he would debate anybody about flexible dieting versus clean eating. Dan Neuermeyer and I accepted the challenge. Dan is a PhD in exercise physiology. We accepted the challenge happily. Phil accepted very loudly and then backed out very quietly. So he was nowhere to be found at the conference. I'll tell you what, if you want to debate me on this stuff at a scientific conference, I will not only do it for free, I'll give you the video so you can put it on your YouTube or sell it. But my guess is if we debate, that video is going to disappear into oblivion because you don't want any part of that video going online because I'm going to annihilate you. Because that's what happens when pseudoscientists go up against real scientists. They get fucking embarrassed. So, stay in your lane. If you're a bro, that's cool. Be a bro. I got no problem with it. Just say this is your opinion. You got no scientific data to back it up. That is absolutely cool. I have had certain things where I have no data to back it up. I say this is what I think, this is what I've observed. That's fine. I got no problem with that. But don't put on the mask of science if you're not actually going to do freaking science. Okay? That's my rant for the day. If anybody would like to get a hold of me for an actual scientific real debate, y'all know where to find me. Peace.